Good afternoon, wherever you're hearing me from. My name is Benga Adeyemo. I'm the co-lead of the Winnipeg Fabric and Power BI user group here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. I also have with me here my co-lead, who is Ade Damola Adibowale. Please, can you say hi to everybody, Damola? If you can hear me, can you say hello to everyone?
Yeah, hello everyone. Thanks
Thank
for
you, Damola.
joining today's session. Sorry, I
Thank
can't
you.
on my camera. I'm in the kitchen cooking.
No, that one said makes sense. That one said makes sense. It's important. Okay. We have the likes of Ayo Oluwapokayo de Ebenezer also joining us from Calgary. We have the likes of Ola joining us from Toronto, Ontario. And other people that I see on the call, I mean, I don't know where you're joining us from, but I know most people, Winnipeg, and a lot of other. I think somebody joining us from the UK too. So thank you everyone for joining us. I really appreciate you for coming. This morning was a little sorry. I woke up very late and all that. So I'm so sorry, guys, that happened. And not to waste more time, I want to introduce our speaker. Her name is Blessing Okeke, and she is, in fact, she's my mentor. She's my mentor. She's somebody that I admire very well, and she's very experienced. She has worked both in different capacities of data engineering, both as a data platform engineer. She has worked as a data engineer. She has worked as an AE, right? And I mean, she has gained experience so far. I mean, in terms of certifications, if you look at her profile, if you look at her LinkedIn, you see certifications in Microsoft, in a lot of certifications. In fact, I start to mention, we will not even leave here today. Without any further paparazzi, uh, Blessing can come to the stage now and take the stage and start uh, demoing for us all the things he has in stock for us today. And one thing I like about today's webinar is that the topic is something that is very, very interesting, very, very interesting topic that we are going to be doing today, right? Just give me a minute. Give me a minute, guys. Uh, this is my morning today. Everything is just somehow this morning. It's well with me. Okay. So today we have the topic understanding Microsoft Fabric, and we are going to be going from the basics to pipelines and to architectural decision. Now, the issue here is this: the issue that we identified when I was talking to Blessing about this program is that a lot of people gets carried away by the different buzzwords that we have inside of Microsoft Fabric. A lot of people want to learn. A lot of people that have been on Power BI before, they want to also upgrade to an AE or data engineer, right? I mean, within the Fabric environment. And a lot of people don't even understand the end-to-end process of how the whole Fabric thing works, right? And I think the reason why this community even exists in the first place is for us to be able to simplify things, for us to be able to bring somebody who can do a demo, not just a demo, but gives us that overview, that simplified overview of understanding the whole design, the whole environment, how things work end to end. What is pipeline? What is lakehouse? What is warehouse? How does this even work? Which one do you even need at what point or the other? So things like that is what she's going to be discussing with us today for us to have a deeper understanding of how the whole process works end to end. And I must tell you, for somebody like me that I'm learning Azure at the moment, and I'm also using Fabric, I will tell you that Fabric is more simplified. I mean, for Azure, there's a lot of configuration that you do, very complicated stuff sometimes. But I mean, Fabric is here to make everything very simple. You don't need to worry about a lot of things because that has been managed by Microsoft for you at the back end. So, Blessing, you have the floor now. Thank you, everyone. Blessing, you are mute. Oh.
Muted.
Oh, so sorry. Hello, everyone. Good day. Please kindly confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Thank you so much. You know, when Finger was introducing, he said I'm his boss. I just want to reiterate that he just reversed our roles, basically. Literally my boss. And thank you so much for that warm introduction. But Genga and as every other person here is one I've learned from over the years, is our MVP, our most valued Microsoft professional. That tells a lot. And I'm just learning from him. But without further ado, my name is Blessing Okeke. Please let me know when you can see my screen. But at any
Not
point you
yet.
can't hear me again, please do well to call my. All right, please. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Very nice slide. Beautiful.
Thank you. Okay, I would need someone else aside Benga to please unmute and speak. So one thing we should know is it is a class for everyone. It's going to be as interactive as it can be. It's a two-edged sword thing. You learn from me, I learn from you, right? So I would love it if someone else can unmute and speak. Anyone, please. You're in a place where you can speak. Do well to mute your mic and speak. Anyone say anything?
Hi,
Guys,
Blessing.
let's talk. Oh. Guys.
Hello,
I'll
Blessing.
call.
Yes, we can see your screen. Looking nice.
All right. Thank you so much, Sharon. So back to our conversation. Introduction to Fabric, basics, pipeline, and architectural decisions. So one thing or my goal for today's class is every single person who attends this particular webinar would leave understanding Microsoft Fabric in the entirety. By saying understanding Microsoft Fabric in the entirety is for every single terminology you've heard so far in Microsoft Fabric, for every single architecture that had gray areas, you just see this architecture, it feels so voluminous, you really can't pick points, you don't know what this is. The goal of today's class is, after everything, you will understand Fabric in its simplest form. It will go through different sections. Okay, about me, my name is Blessing Okeke, like earlier introduced. I'm a data solutions architect and engineer. I currently work in EY as a data and analytics engineer. That's all about me in a nutshell. All we'll cover in today's class, we'll understand the fabric structure, the storage layer. I intentionally had the storage layer as a section on our own. Then we'll also talk about data pipelines, after which we'll go into our environment and have a demo. It will be more of understanding different concepts and understanding the different moving parts than writing the actual scripts. I'm of the opinion that in our world today, now it's about writing code and writing query. We can always go online, go to AI, give me this code. But the understanding is what you cannot trade with anything. So the understanding is very, very crucial. And getting the high-level architecture of what you're working on and what you're working with is so important and paramount. Hence the reason for today's lecture or today's webinar. Please, at any point, if you have a question, do well to unmute your mic and speak. It's possible you raise your hand and I do not see it ASAP. Just unmute your mic so I don't go far and you're left somewhere. You know, most times when you hear Microsoft Fabric, there's a word that comes to mind: software as a service. And anyone, please, sorry, this wasn't on me. Yeah, thank you. Anyone, please just unmute your mic. Tell me when you hear the word Fabric, what comes to mind? If anyone just walks up to you and say, oh, Microsoft Fabric, what's the one thing that you hear to talk about Microsoft Fabric? That was that one word that you just hear. To you is vague. you don't understand, or you even understand it, but once you hear Microsoft Fabric, this is the next word that comes to mind. Anyone, please? I'll call names if you don't answer my question.
Okay, let me start first before somebody else talk. So,
Okay.
what comes to my mind is software as a service, and also another thing that comes to my mind is the word Azure, because
Okay.
it's like it's within the same stack. And then another thing that
Yes.
comes to my mind is probably, oh, there's a lot to learn. It's like it seems like it's
Is
an
it just me?
unending
Like, I lost you
journey.
for a couple of seconds.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I said the first thing that comes to my mind is software as a service. Second thing
Okay.
that comes to my mind is the word Azure because it's like under the same Azure data stack. And another thing that comes to my mind is probably like there's a lot to learn and it looks like an unending journey.
Lost
Let
you
me, I
again.
want, yeah, another thing that comes to my mind also is probably I look at it like, okay, everything that I know in Azure, how can I do the same thing in Fabric in a more simplified way? Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. So you mentioned three vital things. One, software as a service. Two, Microsoft or Azure. Let me use the word that you used, Azure. And the third one is everything you knew in Azure, you know in Azure. What is our equivalent in Fabric, right? Or how can you simplify things in Microsoft Fabric? All wonderful, correct, and nice points. Anyone else, please, before I continue?
Okay, so for me, when I hear the word fabric, what comes to mind is bringing data analysis or data analytics. That's a combination of data analysis, data engineering, and all of those bogus terms
I can't
together
hear you
into one
again.
platform.
Sorry, I need to confirm if it's my internet or
Hello, can you
yours.
hear me? Hello, I don't know
Hello,
if anyone
Blessing.
else heard.
Yeah, I
Yes.
can hear you, Mr. Though. It's possible that it's Blessing's network.
Oh, okay.
Okay, can you come again, sir?
Okay, so when I hear the word fabrics, what comes to mind is a combination of data analytics, and data engineering. All of those big terminologies coming into one platform. Yeah, so I think that's just it for me.
All right. All correct. Thank you. You said bringing in basically the different sections in analytics, engineering, machine learning, bringing everything into one service. So yes, that also stands. I would explain Fabric in this way, right? Aside the functionality of Fabric, what is Fabric itself? Software as a service. Obviously, we know my Fabric is Microsoft, bringing all your different apps into one environment. So in today's class, we'll all be builders, or we're talking so much around real estate. So if you're into real estate, or you know so much about housing, but everyone knows about housing because we all live somewhere, right? So hence why I had to use an analogy that we can all relate to. You hear software as a service, SaaS. What exactly is software as a service? Now think of Fabric like this. Can you see the screen? Can you see where I'm at? I currently have an apartment here. I'm moving
Yes,
around it.
Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
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 So think of software as a service like renting an apartment. Don't need to buy land. No building is required. No maintenance stress. You just move in, use it, and you're out. Now, this is Fabric in essence. So everything, a number of configurations that would always stress our head with, is part of the things that Fabric has taken away from us, or basically reduce our burden from. Your lands are equivalent to servers. No need to buy land means your servers are handled for you. No building required means infrastructure is fully managed for you. No maintenance stress. Your updates, security, patches, everything is included. Basically, Fabric is telling you, oh, come, purchase your compute capacity and do your thing. That's literally thing. Basically, the same way you go to rent a service apartment, you just pay your money, you go in and make use of what you need to make use of. But beyond that, I would explain some other things. So please, anytime you hear the word software as a service, think of you're going to rent an Airbnb. At least if you're trying to remember what SaaS means, if you remember Airbnb, it should make sense to you, right? I'll use a lot of analogies in today's class. So anytime you forget something, you recall things that you use every day or you see on a daily, and it just sticks, right? Now let's come back to this. Now the fabric architecture. Now I already explained fabric as software as a service. Now I would explain the architecture, the hierarchy from the largest to smallest. Now here we have the tenants. I'll walk you through this first. Now this is the Microsoft Fabric hierarchy. You have the tenants. Your tenant is basically like an organization or an estate. Only those who have access or who own one thing or the other have access to an estate, right? You know the way a typical estate is. You can't walk in or walk in there as you like or walk out as you like, right? Only those who basically have access to it. It's similar to our companies, the way our organizations have a tenant with Microsoft. Only those who have the email addresses with the company's suffix that can access that particular thing. I can even go into a meeting, have access to your OneDrive, have access to Microsoft Teams. The same thing is with Fabric. So the first hierarchy is your tenants. So who comprises of that tenants? Those who have access to the estates. Again, please, I'll be using the house analogy a lot. Please do well to ask your questions at different points in time. Let it be a conversation. I don't mind going over a particular concept over and over again until we gain mastery of it. So back to our conversation. A tenant who has access to it, or who has access to an estate, so a gated estate, right? I think for this one, I'll have to use this back and forth. Yes, I have to use this than the slideshow. So the first one is tenant, your neighborhood, the organization's gated apartment complex. Everyone with access lives here and is managed through what we call the Microsoft Entra, right? And the next thing we have on our architecture for Fabric is what? The service itself, which is our Microsoft Fabric. Now, your Microsoft Fabric cannot be built or cannot be provisioned outside of your tenants. So the first step to getting Microsoft Fabric is what? Having a tenant, right? Then you have, because it's not possible you would say you want to go into an estate to get a house if you don't have access through the estate gates. So that's the first thing you need to know. The second thing is the service itself, Microsoft Fabric. So the decision to use Fabric in your tenant, and it's enabled once per organization. So it's at organization level that Microsoft Fabric is enabled, and is one per tenant. So as an organization, you cannot decide to have 3, 4 Microsoft Fabric. It is not your regular resources that you just choose to provision anyhow. So usually a service that you enable once per organization or per tenant. So you'd go to your organization would go enable Microsoft Fabric, and that is that about that. So there are no 2 Microsoft Fabric, there are no 3 Microsoft Fabric, there are no 4, 5, 6 Microsoft Fabric per organization, right? So and the decision is to use Microsoft Fabric in your tenants. It's enabled once per organization. So this is where we are at. We've talked about tenants, the tenant level. The second one is the service level. Now I would explain capacity. Now you have access to the estates. Microsoft itself is what? You have a smart building service. Now, the earlier time I used the scenario of what? A service apartment. And that way again, you can think of Microsoft Fabric is a smart building. That's another analogy you can use whenever you forget the concept of software as a service. So think of a smart building, right? Now, you go You enable your smart building service. Now, capacity, which is the third one. Now we have capacity. You would agree with me that for a smart building service, nothing can be done there. Even if you like, even if you enable it, you say, oh, this is what you want. Nothing can be done without utility, right? Now that utility is your capacity, like we call it in Microsoft Fabric. You would always hear of different capacities like F2, F3, F4, F6, 64. These are basically capacities. Now think of your utility, think of your generator, your power system, right? You would not have a duplex and you would go get a very small Tiger generator. You would even be lucky if that light powers just the lights in the building. How much more your appliances? So these different capacities, they are provisioned based on what you need it to do. The same way when you want to get purchase utility, depends on what you want to use. Even a prepaid meter or you want to get light, based on what you need to do is how you provision. Oh, I need all my appliances on. I want to run I want to run the heater. Get, I want to turn on the heater. I want to turn on my appliances, probably the AC. If you want to do all of these things at the same time, you know, oh, okay, different capacity. This particular utility build I have will not cover for it. So basically, different capacities in Microsoft Fabric is dependent on the workload you hope to achieve within Microsoft Fabric. So no capacity, no pipelines, no queries, no processing. You have a smart building without light, there is nothing. The building is as useless as it comes. So nothing can be done. That's why capacity is very important. It's not a debatable layer in the fabric architecture. So it is compulsory because that's literally the compute resource that powers everything. You won't be able to even have access to a smart building because the door would not even open if there is no light. Please ask your questions per time. So this is where we are at, capacity, and about to use the illustration of utility, compute, and billing. The third one is domain. Now your domain, see your domain like floors, right? You go into a building or your smart building and there are about 3 floors there. And you want to just logically group them. Oh, I want the down floor to be for my guests. I want the middle floor to be for my children. I want the topmost floor to be my personal space to my wife. What have you done? You've logically grouped the workspace. You've logically grouped your environment. So it's used for governance, discovery, and organization. So you don't want anyone, probably you have a guest in your house, you don't want anyone to just walk up to this. Oh, this is the guest floor. Even if you need to get a guest room, the guest room should be on the ground floor. So no one who comes, who is not family, who is not my wife or my children, gets into our private space. Even if we are entertaining guests in the house, there should still be some kind of limitations, right? What have you done? You've logically grouped things. Oh, I want the children's wardrobe here. I want mine up. Basically, what have you done? You've done subdomain. Subdomain is now when you further section a domain. So before the organization, oh, let the children's section, even now the second floor is for children, right? You're still further sectioning it. Probably you have 3 children. You're saying the first child should be like this. You don't want anyone to just waltz around anyhow they like. You still want to put some kind of hierarchy. Even on the floor, you said, oh, this floor is for my children, which is the middle floor, which is the first floor. Sorry, we have the ground floor, first floor, and second floor. Still in the first floor, you're saying child 1, this is your compartment. Child 2, this. Child 3, that. What have you done? You further, or you're saying, oh, the east wing should face this particular side, or you're saying the west wing. This is further what? Further grouping or further organizing what you have. Again, please let's not think too much. I tell anyone who cares to listen that the concept of data is what we do every day. So if you can bring what we do every day into data, it makes so much sense. Now, let's come down to our workspace. Please note, even in your apartment, right, in your smart building service, if you choose not to logically group it or do a further subdivision, it's not going to affect you doing your thing, doing your thing there, right? So that's the same with workspace. Your workspace can exist on its own without a domain or subdomain. So let's not get it twisted. Even if this is how it is, even if the hierarchy is, oh, capacity then domain, even if your workspace should sit in your domain, but it can still exist without a domain. Again, let's not think it too much. Let's not think too far. Think of it, oh, you got a place, you got a house, and you chose not to do any division or not to logically group it. That's fine. That would not stop you from having a bedroom to go and sleep or having to do anything within your house. You having to arrange this is at your own discretion, or probably to make things more arranged and organized for you, right? Though it's best practice as data professional that we don't leave things littered around, but that will still not stop your work from going or running through. But with compute, it is not. But with compute is not a if I like situation as with domain and subdomain. It is very, very compulsory because it's usually the powerhouse and what how we used to basically make all of our provision in work. So back to workspace. Now, workspace is basically the container for all your fabric items. Is your room. Inside your room, you can have your bedroom, your wardrobe, anything you feel like. You can have another space, another compartment. So you say, oh, this is my working closet. So your workspace is a container for all your fabric items. So everything you need to do within your space or within your room, any single compartment, anything you want to provision, any design you want to do in your room, it is contained what in a place you've tagged your bedroom, right? So look at that individual apartments. Serves as a container for all fabric items, can exist on its own, and can be associated with a domain if one is defined. Just like I earlier reiterated, you can have it attached to a domain or and even a subdomain. If you think you still want to further organize your domain, that's fine. So your workspace can exist with them and can also exist on its own. If you don't have a domain and a subdomain, that's fine. You have your fabric capacity, you have your Microsoft Entra, enable Microsoft Fabric, you enable your capacity or you choose what capacity you want. You can just go ahead to creating a workspace, that's fine. That works, it will not stop your work. But again, it's best practice you have your work what logically grouped. Now the next one is what the items. Now in your room, oh, your own provision appliances, your table, your chair, bedroom. So your items are the actual tools you use. This is where you have your lake houses, your warehouses, pipelines, reports, event house, and the likes. Then we have the last thing, which is what? Objects. Your object obviously lives inside the item. Your objects are like your cabinets. You have a table. When you have to open the cabinet, you have files inside. That's your object. So there are tables, there are files, row, columns within the item. So your objects cannot exist without an item. You cannot just wake up one day and say you want to create a table in Fabric. Where is it sitting? What Microsoft item is it sitting? Right? Or is it a lake house? Is it a warehouse? It cannot just exist on our own. And also, you would notice that once you enable Microsoft Fabric, you choose a capacity, by default, a workspace is created for you. That's tell you how important it is to have a container for all your fabric items. So by default, you'd always see my workspace. You'd always see my workspace by default. But you can go ahead, create another one. You can create as many workspaces as you like, as many containers you want. You can do all of that. But to tell you the importance of having a workspace and how you cannot exist without a workspace, there's always a default workspace. So you don't have to create any one. It goes into your default workspace that's been created for you. I just want to go back to mention that. Then items and objects as earlier explained. Now this is everything in entirety. Now every time you hear Microsoft Fabric, you think, I'm just hearing A, I'm hearing B, I don't even understand what is capacity doing, why domain, why subdomain, in your workspace, why do we even need a workspace? What does it do? I hope after this particular conversation, it's clearer. Please, I want to take questions or I'll ask questions myself. We have, yes, okay, I'm still within time. So we have a couple of things we'll still treat, but please ask your questions. And do you think you can relate with the analogy? Does it make sense? Is it clearer? Even if you've understood it before, does this provide a bit of clarity or further clarity as to what Microsoft Fabric is in its entirety or what the hierarchy is like? So I'll take questions now, please. I would ask questions if I'm not asked any. Olajide, I can see you've unmuted your mic. Do you have a question for me, please?
Well, I wanted to confirm that based on this architecture, so actually I
Yes.
joined late, but based on the architecture you showed, so basically it's like containers inside a container.
Olajide, I'm sorry, you'd have to take that again. My internet keeps.
Oh,
I hope you
okay.
guys heard me very well without any break because anytime you have to speak, it's
Yeah,
breaking
I
on
can
my
hear
end.
you. I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. All right, please take that again.
Yeah, so from what I saw, because I just joined the class, but from what I saw from the hierarchy diagram and the architecture that you showed, so it
Yeah.
shows that from my objects, my lake house or my warehouse, my pipelines and all of that, down to the tenant is like a container inside a container.
The container inside the container. I don't want to
Yep.
use the word container inside the container, right?
Okay.
Your tenant is not really a container. I don't want to call it a container. Maybe to Microsoft is a container. So what might be a container to me as a user, right? Or what might be a container to Microsoft will not be a container to me. So if Microsoft, basically all our tenants they are logically grouped in containers. Now it's a container to them. But to me, that's actually my land.
Okay. Okay.
Do you understand? You see the way in your organization, you have your email addresses, right? Anyone in the organization you can easily put anyone within the same organization into a meeting, but you cannot pull an external person into a meeting. Even if person is in another organization that has a tenant in Microsoft, but you cannot just go to your dial, I want to pull the person into the meeting, right?
Okay.
Only
Okay.
if maybe you added the person to the meeting link prior to, even if you have, I don't know if it's going to ring out, but anyone within your organization, you can just go there and deal anyone into the meeting, even without prior information. So what might be a container to Microsoft is not a container to me. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
Microsoft as a fabric, fabric as a service, sorry, SaaS is just something that's been embedded within Microsoft. It's not a decoupled thing. That's why I want to enable it once. I think you missed the initial part. Let me just take that again. Once you enable Microsoft Fabric, it is one of one in a tenant. There is no two Microsoft Fabric or three Microsoft Fabric in a tenant because it's been bundled together. Once you enable it, you've enabled it. Then the next thing is, oh, what capacity are you giving to it? By capacity, I mean, let me come down here and explain this. So by capacity, we use the illustration of a smart building service. You cannot do anything in there unless you have like there is lights, so the utility and all. So your capacity is synonymous to that. And you would not power a very small generator for a mansion. So what you intend to do within Microsoft Fabric the load you intend for it to actually do, the analytics you intend to do, is what now informs you as to what level, what capacity should you provision. Should you provision F2, F4, F64, F64? They all have their different power and also where I would now say we have a container is at the workspace level. So and a container for your fabric items. So your items being the lake house, the warehouse, the pipelines, etc. And your objects, they live within an item because your object cannot exist on our own within fabric.
Yeah, I think I understood it clearly now. So basically, with this hierarchy now explained, it shows that to Microsoft, each tenant they partitioned the service for you. So one-on-one service given to an organization, then the
Yes.
organization now have their own partition where they can walk in, where they can now put in all their capacities, like the resource, the compute, the
Now,
memory,
just
and
to
all of
mention,
that.
can you hear me, please? Can you hear
Yes, I,
me?
I can hear you
So
clearly.
just to just to quickly mention on this capacity. So within an organization, you can have two, three capacities, and it is done by region level.
Okay.
So if you the way we would have a region, right? So if
Yeah.
you want to have you want to enable it in different regions, you can have two, three capacity, but your Microsoft Fabric is still Microsoft Fabric.
Fabric.
There are
Yeah.
no two, three Microsoft Fabric. That's
Yeah.
one thing I want us to take out of this meeting today.
Yeah.
For capacity, you can actually have more than one capacity, and it can be done per region. So if you're having two, three regions, you have to enable or state what capacity each region should have. Then
Okay.
every other thing as is, then the domain, the workspace, everything within a capacity. So this whole circle doesn't change. Even if you have even if you have two capacities, that means you're replicating this twice. All of these do not change. The other hierarchy.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Blessing. So it's well understood. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Please, for any question or anyone who would love to run us through what we just discussed on. You think, oh, Blessing, I've gained clarity on this. I think it's clear. Before I thought I thought it was this, but now I think I understand this better. Please do well to just share your view. Okay.
I think it's clear. We can move forward.
All right, thank you. So I thought to have storage as a different section in today's class for a reason, or for different reasons. Let me put it that way. So the storage layer is one of the most confusing conversation I've heard people talk about when they are discussing Microsoft Fabric. And this brings about the fact that there are times where excuse me. Thank you. I think this is because of the word or the terms they used and the terms that people are not really used to before. Or people are not seeing the difference or the mapping from what they used to know to what it is now. So let's come back again. We'll still use our house analogy for this. So before tenants, workspaces, pipeline, we need to understand where data actually lives in Microsoft Fabric. So like a house, nothing works without a clear foundation or plumbing work, basically. Which brings us to understanding One Lake, the foundation of Microsoft Fabric. Everyone keeps saying One Lake, I don't understand. How does it work? How is the whole thing? So just think of One Lake as a central storage of a building or a pumping system. You would agree with me that once the water system of a house is done, no matter what floor, what room, what part of the house you need water, it's still the same water that flows through everywhere, right? So basically, all data flows through one shared foundation. The same way every water that runs through the entire house flows through one source. If you ever misunderstand what one lake is, please remember this analogy. Remember, in your house, you had to do water work and all, and no matter where, even if it's at the ground floor, the first floor, the second floor, even in the master's bedroom, it's still the same water that flows through everywhere. So that's literally how one lake is. It is a centralized data lake for Fabric tenants. It's automatically created once your Fabric is enabled. So there is no place where you have to go and create one lake in Microsoft Fabric. So stores all data from the Fabric items and it uses Delta Parquet format. So from even one lake is from the word data lake. One is from the word data lake, sorry. One data lake. So it's one data lake in your entire Fabric tenant. That's literally what one lake is about. One data lake meshed together to have what? One lake. And because it is a data lake, as we know, a data lake, you cannot have a data lake in table form unless you have an extra table form, which our table form in this case is what? Delta Parquet. So what you use is basically under the hood is what? Delta Parquet format to later have a table form of whatever data you have in your one lake. So key takeaway, your one lake is not a service you choose. It is always there. There are no architectural decisions to, I don't want one lake, I want one lake. So it's not a service you have to choose. It is always there for you. Then key one lake feature, how data is accessed and computed in Microsoft Fabric. Sorry, excuse me. So you can use, I think hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Sorry, my screen is frozen and okay, it's moving now.
So everyone, do we understand the concept of one lake? Or do we have any questions before we go ahead? Okay, it seems everybody understand. Okay, let's go.
All right, thank you.
Sorry,
So-
I was gonna take it. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Sorry, I was gonna take it back a bit, Blessing. Thanks for that. I think my question was, if you could go back to the one link, I don't think I got the picture. So I think you mentioned it being, you can use the analogy of a house having central water, right? And wherever
Yes.
water is flowing, it flows like. So one lake is like central storage for all of the water that goes to like different places. So in this case, central storage for data that are going to different places.
I'm
Is
listening
that-
to you, please.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I
So-
can hear you now.
Yeah, so what I got from what you said, and correct me if I'm wrong, is in this case, one lake is that central storage for data that would be used throughout Fabric.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Understand. So it's one central storage that will be used throughout Fabric. And if you remember what your data lake is, it follows the concept of data lake. The difference is just one. That's the reason why you would not see anywhere in Microsoft Fabric that you'd see, you want to provision a data lake. Rather, what you would see is lake house. What you would see is warehouse. So basically, it's more of, let's just have one data lake. So one lake. And that's why it's enabled by default. You're not even given the opportunity to choose if you need a one lake or not. Do you understand?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So one of the key one lake features has to be the shortcuts in one lake. And what shortcut basically does is data virtualization. I would explain why it's one of the key one lake features and you would understand. Please, let's try to assimilate right on the call and ask questions. It's important. So shortcuts allow one lake to reference external data without copying it. Like having direct access to storage you don't own, no data duplication. Data is queried as if it lives in one lake. So basically, what this is just telling you is when you say virtualization is like a mirror. You know, when you take a mirror, right, you're looking at yourself, you can see yourself in the mirror, but that's not you. So if you ever try to think, oh, what's visualization? Just remember a mirror, please. I should have added this here. I skipped that. Just remember a mirror. Then it can point to a number of external, not just this, there are a couple of others. I was going to attach the documentation here because there's only a limit to what I can have here. Yes, please. Aminu.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask if in this case
Aminu, I
virtualization.
lost you.
Yeah, can you
I
hear
don't know
me?
why. Yes, please, I can hear you.
Okay, so in case of virtualization, where is the data stored if it is again a mirror? Does that mean you're just seeing what is existing in a different database? And if that is the
Thank you.
case, can you write back from one lake to the, place you're mirroring from?
I'm sorry I lost you again.
Yeah, so my question was, in the case of data virtualization, right, which is a mirror, right? It's a mirror of an existing database. In that case, where is the data stored? Is it still stored in the original source? And if it is stored in the original source, can you write back to it from Fabric?
I don't know. I heard virtualization again. Then you
Okay,
went off,
Blessing,
and I
can you
heard,
hear
can
me?
you write back to it from
Blessing, can you hear
Fabric?
me?
I can hear you now.
What he's asking is that the
Yeah.
data that you shortcut into Fabric, is the data still inside its
The data
source?
that is the last thing I heard, though. The data that
The data
I'm so
that
sorry. I
you
don't know
are
whether the internet is
virtualizing
terrible.
into the Fabric environment. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I
Is
can
the
hear you now.
is the original copy still inside the Fabric? Sorry, inside the source that is coming from? And also, it's asking whether it's possible to write back inside that source.
Okay, please let's do it this way. Is it possible we write it out? Because I still
Okay.
missed you at the middle. You said data is
Can you
being
hear me
virtualized
now?
into Fabric environments. Is the original data, then I heard right back. It took me out
Okay.
again for a
It's
couple of
asking whether
seconds.
the original data is still at the source where it is coming from. And that
Oh,
from
yes,
Fabric,
please.
can we write back data inside of that source? Can you hear it now?
I'm coming, please. Let me switch my internet.
Okay, please go ahead.
Second, please.
But I think I can answer the question a little way before Blessing change the internet. So, Mr. Aminu.
Yes, sir.
The data you are virtualizing, the data is still at the source. You are not creating any copy of that data inside of the Fabric environment. You get me, sir?
Yes, sir.
And you
Okay.
cannot write back into that source. You're only seeing the source as it is.
Oh.
So the difference is that when you copy the data, you are like moving, you are like when you it's like you are creating another copy of that data inside of Fabric, and we don't want to do that. We want data to stay at the source where it is, and we are only virtualizing it inside of the Fabric environment as if we copied it. But in the initial sense, we didn't create a copy of that data.
Okay.
It's still sitting at the source. We are only seeing the virtualized version of it inside of Fabric.
Okay, and there's no write back.
There's no write back. You are only seeing data as
just
it is.
What okay.
Yes. So that saves us from, or let me say that saves what do we call this? There's something we call ingress for people that understand what I'm saying. Ingress. So there's no egress cost for there's no egress cost for the external places that data is seated, your Azure data lake, your Amazon S3, Google Cloud, and Snowflake, and wherever it's coming from.
Yeah.
Is it clear now?
Yeah, that's
And
very
I think
clear.
I heard you use the word mirroring. I think the two are different in Fabric. So shortcut is for this kind of data sources that was listed on the screen. And I think mirroring is for probably, I think, data lake I think Azure Data Lake Gen 2 and Snowflake. So mirroring is usually for like OLTP data sources.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I think it's Azure. Is it Azure SQL data? I can't remember these things again.
But
Sorry.
for mirroring and for virtualization, apart from these sources that are listed on the screen, are there like
Mm-hmm.
other data sources that can be mirrored or virtualized?
Yeah, I think yes, Snowflake can be mirrored. I know of Snowflake for mirroring. I think I know of is Blessing, are you back now? Okay. I think I know of probably is it SQL database that can be mirrored or is it
So a number
ADLS?
of these things they
Yeah,
change
go
over
ahead,
time
please.
because the reason why I try not to give a yes or no to things like this, I can tell you yes or no to a particular connector, and tomorrow
Yeah.
Fabric has pushed it. So they are all work in progress. Every time when that's how I'd always advise anyone, please read documentation and ask at that time, can this be allowed?
Yeah.
I was watching a particular YouTube video. A person was saying, oh, just A, B, C, and D. But as of today, right now, a number of other connectors have been added.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, this is just such a part of things. I think I'm one of the most commonly used cloud pointers. Hence why I had them here. There's even Redshift that you can connect to in Amazon. So a number of these things. This is not the only thing. Always check for your documentation and you see many other connectors. So I've tried to switch my internet. I pray and I'm hopeful that it doesn't cut me off again. I think it to
Yeah.
be being able to answer the question.
Yes. Thank you so much, Bingham.
So one thing okay. So one thing I would just say concerning writing back is the connector or what you're connected to has a major role to play. Not all connectors allow for read and write. Especially most cloud connectors are just read-only connectors. Once upon a time, there was none at all.
Yeah.
But there are some, I think the ones that are within Azure, the connectors that are within Azure, so them allow for write back now. Well, not all, but majority other cloud or external systems will not allow you to write back to their system. Again,
Okay.
please, let's always fall back to our documentation.
Of
We always
course.
get the do's and don'ts. See, I'm a very big, very, very big on the school of thought that once we arc the architecture of a system, we can always build on it.
Yeah.
Once you understand the fact that this is what One Lake does for you, once you understand the fact that this is Microsoft Fabric architecture,
Yeah.
there'll obviously be other moving parts in those systems. But once you get the architecture, you will be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
You will definitely be fine. But I don't want to say this because this is going out, but I will just say that even there are a lot of people who have built systems and they will still not off their head tell you every single moving part of their system.
Yeah.
Even while
Yeah.
working, every single day we learn on the job.
Of course. Of course.
Do you
No
understand?
worries. Yeah.
But do you
No.
get the architecture? Do you understand it?
So
Okay.
far, yes.
Thank
So far, yes.
Another
I understand
question.
that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other question before we move to the next?
Let's go ahead, Blessing, so that we can cover the rest.
Thank you. Okay, I'm starting One Lake feature, the serverless compute. So compute in Fabric is fully serverless. No cluster of servers to manage. Compute spins up only when needed and scales automatically with demand, which is your One Lake. There is no place where you have to go and state, oh, my One Lake, I need just 1 terabyte, I need just 2 terabytes, I need just 500 gigabytes. No. So it automatically scales based on demand. Again, just the way your power in your house, if you're using a prepaid card, it would not tell you this thing you want to do is above this particular watts. It just scales up based on demand and do what needs to be done. And that's that
Okay,
about
I have a
that.
question on that part, Blessing.
Yes, please.
So, what your compute will be also I think it will be determined by your capacity, right? If I'm correct.
It's internet.
Can you hear me, Blessing?
I can hear you now.
I said the compute that you be able to use will be dependent on your capacity, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, it is. But let's also not forget that in Fabric, your compute and your storage, they are decoupled. So it is not a buy one, get one free. That is why, but the cost of your one lake will be added to your compute. I don't know if that makes sense. So it would be attached and you'll be giving, there's a place where I think I wrote something around that. Let me see. Okay. Let me just take this off my head, right? So for storage or for the compute or how you're being charged for it. So you don't necessarily have to maybe go and increase your compute to get a larger storage or so, but at the end of the day, it all sums up to your compute cost. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You know the way it is pay as you go, it is serverless. By serverless, it means what? Pay as you go. But you've picked your compute and the compute has the amount is being charged for. But the other things that later on is being charged and at the end of the month you have to pay for. So you don't necessarily have to go and increase your compute for your one lake to scale up. You don't necessarily have to do that. But at the end of the day, it all sums up to your compute cost that you pay for.
Just a quick question.
Did you get the difference?
Can you hear me, Blessing?
I mean, yeah, I can
Hello?
hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I
Just
mean,
a
I can
quick
hear you.
question. Yeah. Does virtualization
This
of
internet, God.
does virtualization take less space because we are not like bringing in the whole data? So that means, of course, lower cost. Is that what that does for us?
Sorry, can you
Is that
see
one of the
me?
benefits? No, I can't.
Because actually, I turned off my camera already just so my internet be better. That was intentional, but I don't know why I'm still getting this.
I'll just drop the question in the chat.
Yes, please. Thank you so much.
Sure.
So for time's sake, I'll quickly continue this and I'll take the question. Once I'm done, I'll go to the chat, I'll take the questions. So we also have different storage options in Fabric that you have to provision yourself, aside the one lake that is by default. So Fabric gives you multiple ways to work with the same data. Mind you, they are all sitting in one lake, right? Those are just the front layers. Let me put it that way. You have the lake house, which is the multi-purpose storage space, like I would love to call it, or love to term it. It is built on Delta Parquet. I earlier explained how when you have your data in data lake or lake house, it needs a table form because in data lake or lake house, it is not always in table form. So it needs a form that can be queried. So it's built on Delta Parquet, supports the three major forms of your data, supports Spark, SQL, Notebook, and can use shortcuts. When do you choose to use Lakehouse? You don't just wake up one morning and say, I feel like. As a data professional in every skill, you should not just wake up and feel like using things. There's a reason why every single service exists, or every single resource exists. So please always ask, why do you need to use this? It should be a question. Curiosity mindset is also a skill in our work today. So when to choose Lakehouse, you're using PySpark for transformation. You know, PySpark, and you have large transformations you need to do, or you're unsure of future requirements from your data source, or you need to store all kinds of data types. Exploration before enforcing schema or data science ML workload, you want them to connect to that. It's better they connect to a lake house rather than a warehouse for their machine learnings and their models training. So you have an analogy, you can put anything there and figure things out later. So just a storage area where you can put anything and figure things out later. That's your lake house. For your warehouse, structured and optimized storage. So it's built for structured data. You'll be doing a lot of read-heavy work. It is optimized for transact SQL. Ideal for silver and gold layers, stored as data packet, also on one lake. Again, one lake is the dumping site. For it to take the form of a table, it needs what? A data packet. And familiar SQL Server experience. When to choose your data lake, strong SQL usage. For reporting on your BI workloads. Also for your Medallion architecture, your silver and your gold layer, be one lake. Can be in warehouse, sorry. Oh, sorry, this is an mission. Should be in warehouse. So the house analogy should be a well-organized pantry. Everything has a place and a label. So storage options in Fabric. We also have Event House. When you think of real-time analytics, is built for or built to handle your streaming data, optimized for time series workload. So once you're dealing with telemetry data, you should never think far. There's no reason why you're going to Lakehouse or Warehouse for telemetry data, right? Event House is your go-to. Your near real-time dashboard. Probably the source generates data every nanoseconds. Event House is your guy. Live monitoring systems that shows what's happening right now, like your trade applications and all. We have that to be that. So One Lake Foundation, I said this is our storage layer, and it uses what? Delta packet to take the table form. We have Lake House, Warehouse, Event House. So basically, it's same data, different experiences, like we've earlier established. So this is the little architectural view I could come up with for our One Lake Foundation. For our storage layer, our key takeaways, One Lake is there.
Sorry, can you go back to the last slide?
Yes, please.
All right, thank you.
So key takeaway from our storage layer, One Lake is always there. Data is stored once. Your lake house, warehouse, and event house are access patterns. And the choice depends on how you want to work with the data. You could see we've given the reason for each of these storage layers, or which one would you use and why. So your choice depends on how you want to work with the data. So you basically choose either of the access patterns. Is there any question?
Please let's move
Any
on.
question? All right, thank you. All right,
Yes.
data pipelines. What's data pipeline? Basically, just think of automation. That's all. You want to automate your processes. You have a smart house. In the morning, once you wake up, it knows to start brewing your coffee, start steaming the heater, open the garage door. Basically, that's automation. You don't have to, it saves you time. That's what pipeline basically does. No one manually triggers each step. Each line just runs. So we have in a data pipeline. Why use a data pipeline? Without pipeline, manual process and prone to error. With pipeline, automated, specified time, consistent rules. That's that about data pipeline. Fabric pipeline components. So we have 3 different components for Fabric pipeline. We have the activities that are the building block of the pipeline. So each activity performs one specific task. And there are 3 major categories of activities. Please, most of the things we'll be doing, or most of the things you hear, the Fabric pipeline, they all fall under this. We have the data movement activities. That's where you have your copy job, your copy data. There is no other important one we have under data movement activities. So this basically just tells you how data move from source to destination. So this particular activity is what covers for it. Your data transformation is how you transform data. Oh, I have this data. How do I transform it? or the transformation layer basically sits under this activity. Then control flow. Are you doing for each? Are you doing a control? When you see this particular thing, trigger it. Basically, how you control your activity in your pipeline. That's what this covers for. So again, we have the activities at the building block of a pipeline, and each activity performs one specific task. It cannot be bundled together. So key pipeline principles. Pipeline orchestrates. They don't replace your compute engines at all. No pipeline type is useless. There is no single pipeline type that is useless. Everyone has a purpose. Choose the simplest pipeline that solves problems. Please don't overcomplicate things. If you're working with 100 rows of data, a simple script will do your work for you. You don't have to start bringing on pipeline, doing a copy job, doing CDC when you know you don't need, when you know it's a static data. There is no need for over provisioning. Not just in Fabric, anywhere you have to find yourself in regards to pipeline. Choose the simplest pipeline that solves the problem. Pipelines bring repeatability, visibility, and control. Any process that you repeat every day at work or your business decision making, please automate it. Once you see anything you repeat every time, automate it. Those are the key principles of pipeline. And thank you. I'll quickly go to the chat room to take that question I left. Then I'll show my screen. Oh, yes, please, Fumi. Maybe you're not muted. You've not muted your mic for me. You raised your hand earlier.
Sorry, Blessing. I thought I was muted. I wanted to ask because in the previous slide you mentioned something about no pipeline type is useless. So like are you like talking just maybe in 30 seconds about the pipeline types that we have since that pipeline type is useless?
Pipeline type is useless. So for each activity we have, okay, let me see if I can quickly spin up documentation on that. So for each activity, there are times where we would see, oh, someone will use a data flow gen 2 for their pipeline and do a thing. There is copy job, there is copy activity, there is one particular thing I'm trying to get for you. Can you see my screen? What can you see on my screen?
Yeah, pipeline overview. When to use pipeline.
Thank you. Thank you. So you would always see this movement activity. If I have to open this now, you would see where you see a number of them. Please let your documentation be your best friend. Copy data, data flow gen, Fabric notebook. No matter what type you use, so these are the different movement activities, copy data and data job. No matter what type you finally use to get your work, there is none that is useless. They all exist for a reason. Every single thing you have, they exist for a reason. They are not useless. So you can always come back to this, what's the pipeline part, and get this and digest. You can see it's a lot. If we have to start digesting everything, I don't think we'll leave this place today. So there is none that is useless. Pick what works for you. A simple notebook or a data flow gen tool will do your work. Do it. You don't have to do a copy job that you need to enable CDC. You don't need it. Pick what works for your use case. Does that answer everyone? Okay, I'm trying to get your question and I can't find it, Aminu. Oh, does virtualization take less? Damola, please kindly unmute your mic and speak. Does it take less space and hence reduce our cost? Oh, definitely. It does. It does take less and reduce our cost. Hi, Damola. I'll be sharing my screen shortly. I want to share my Fabric workspace. Mola, if you're speaking, I cannot hear you. Please, can anyone hear Damola, or is it me?
No, none of us can hear Damola.
All right, thank you. Okay, I'll just continue since I guess Damola is trying to sort his internet issue. Let me know when you can see my screen.
We can't see your screen yet.
What about now?
Yes, we can see your screen now.
All right, thank you. So I'll quickly run through an architecture, or I would ask us to, second please. Okay. So once you architect a solution, and the task is this, we'll do this together. Hence why I intentionally left it out of the slide. So based on what we've learned today, we'll be very soon. In the next 5 minutes, you'll be done with this. Then quickly do a bit of deployment. So your task every single day, there's always a meeting by 8 a.m. before the start of the day. Sales go, it's a retail co company. Let me just put it that way. A retail co company. Retail co. Every single morning, they analyze the previous day business and they open their store at 10 a.m. So it's always practiced at 8 to 10 a.m. They review the previous day work. You are the analytics engineer in the team. You do the same thing every day. Their database currently sits, the data currently sits in what? Snowflake. Let me just call it data storage. That currently sits in Snowflake. But yeah, analytics is in Power BI. And they want to do all their transformation, everything that needs to be done in Microsoft Fabric. So basically, they have a Fabric tenant. They have a Fabric tenant, but their day-to-day activities, their operation, their database or their data storage is what? Snowflake. Every single day. So every day at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. reports being run every single day. It's being run against the previous day. It's been run for what against the previous day. But what we have now is this full setup. So I want to ask Round, what do we think we should do? How do we start the whole process in Microsoft Fabric? Is anyone? Let's just quickly architect. It's a very simple solution. We've done the chunk of our work already.
We are going to mirror the data.
Anyone?
We're going to shortcut. Mirror the data from Snowflake. We'll probably do some cleaning or whatever we want to do. Then we then create a semantic model from there. And our Power BI will use that semantic model for reporting. We mirror from Snowflake. Number two, we can do some transformation with Dataflow Gen 2 or Fabric Notebook. That's number two.
Okay.
Ebenezer, please, you can type what you want to type. Number three, then we can, our destination, okay, so our mirror data can land on the lakehouse, right? Then
Why
after
lake house?
transformation, yeah, why lake house? Um, because lake
No,
house can serve as
don't
like a
answer that. Anyone would answer that, please. Why lake
okay.
house? Thank you. You've done so well already. You even gave us Jane 2 or notebook for transformation. Is anyone
Okay, Ebenezer can answer.
please answer? Ebenezer, please, thank you. Anyone else, please? Anyone who can compete? Ebenezer, Aminu, me, anyone, please.
Yeah, so why Lake House? I think I would go with the approach that it's more like the how do I put it? I think that's where you can mirror, right? You can mirror from the Lake House, and more like it's because it's going to be transformation afterwards. So I think a Lake House is the first place to sit in, and then maybe after your transformation, you can then maybe either push it into the
Okay.
another Lake House
Thank you.
or another warehouse, depending on your architectural design. Either you want to go about the medallion architecture or thereabout. But I think firstly it should sit in the lake house.
Okay. Thank you so much. Kami, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Is it Kami or Kami?
Yeah, good evening. So it's coming. So
Please, what's the
you pronounce it.
pronunciation?
Yes, coming. It's just from
All
Olasu
right.
coming, so coming. Right. Yeah.
All
So
right.
thank you for the nice section. I think Lake House, right? The reason why we have to choose Lake House, just building on the answer that Benga already gave us, is because we might get Lake House can actually house any type of data. So it might be tomorrow, the data that we are bringing from Snowflakes might involve different type of data that is not structured data. And our stakeholder might give us a different type of requirement that they need, that if eventually we have already mirrored our data from
Thank you.
Snowflakes into a warehouse, we may not be able to do that from the warehouse.
Thank you so much. So I love
Okay.
that you mentioned our stakeholder might give us what, like basically just saying, oh, well, we can't tell what tomorrow will bring forth. To be on a safer side, let our data do what land in what lake house first, because lake house can take anything. Since this is the first contact with Microsoft Fabric, let's just leave it there, right? Then we can now take it down to, again, there are different layers. Someone mentioned Medallion architecture. Yes. I mean, please, I'll take you, then we'll continue.
Okay. So just to confirm, that means the data can also be in warehouse, but we are choosing lakehouse for safety and because it can accommodate any kind of data. But picking warehouse as an answer is not wrong. Is that correct for this use case?
Okay, this is production grade, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When building for production, when building a solution, you think scalability, right? You don't want to shoot yourself in the leg. It might even be that you need an external. There are times where you're having to do analysis and you need an external data, not even from your database. Maybe you need a table that maps country and states together to further buttress your work. You can't do that in warehouse. Also, for the
Okay.
Medallion architecture, it is better to just bring your data as is first, right? So bring it as is, let it land where you have power to do anything you need it to do. There is also the
Okay.
place for, if you need to do big transformation, you need PySpark. And PySpark can only pick from a lake house. You're going to be doing every transformation. So there are a number of things. No, so Lakehouse is basically taking the best of both worlds. Lakehouse is taking the best of a data lake that will take any kind of data, be it structured, unstructured, or semi-structured. I'm also taking the best of your warehouse that will let you analyze your data well. So and allow you with your data very well. So it takes the best of both house. It's just better that, okay, you have it there first. Let it sit there. Then you move it to especially since you're even using an external data source entirely. So one thing I wanted us to quickly discuss on was mirroring a data from Snowflake. I was trying to make our presentation as short as it can be, but again, we're running against time. But I think I'll have to do it. So even if mirroring is one of the things we need to do, it's not all cases we have to mirror. Now, there is a conversation of, 6 a.m. reports to be done. Mirroring is also cost effective. But for our use case, is mirroring from Snowflake the best, or we bring in and run the pipeline every 6 a.m.? But looking at this, every 6 a.m. it runs the previous day. You can even do your tracking based on the dates. See, I want us to look at this extensively. I don't know, we might most likely have this continuation that time, or have to do a deep dive into this conversation. But I don't know how my boss wants it to be. But I want us to quickly look at this mirroring from Snowflake, and I'm going to pull up a documentation around that. I'm coming. I need to get this Snowflake documentation. But please, Minga, I know you talked about mirroring. I want you to give a supporting comment as to why you think we should mirror.
Okay. Mirroring. I think mirroring is the only option that I know for Snowflake. I don't think in the
Okay.
list of
There are a
data
lot more
sources for
on Snowflake,
shortcuts, I
actually.
don't think that Snowflake is part of it.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's my reason for choosing mirroring.
Well, we can also copy into it from Snowflake.
You can also copy data to Snowflake, but
We can actually
the
copy it
reason is
and
that
let
can
it
cause.
sit in one lake. Then every other thing every other layer will now keep mirroring from one lake.
Mhm.
I don't know if you get my point.
Can you come again? Sorry.
We can also move the data in from Snowflake. Like
From
instead of
Snowflake.
mirroring from Snowflake, we bring it in. Then every
Okay.
other thing we now do would mirror from one lake.
I think it's based on the
Figure.
architecture that you are building.
Exactly.
But what's
That's
the
why I said
justification for bringing,
okay.
like copying the data? Is that not duplicating it when you can actually
So
mirror?
that was what I wanted to bring up. I'm trying to get the documentation for it.
Okay.
So mirroring does CDC. So basically what CDC means is it's capture
Change
data
data
changes.
capture.
Exactly, change data caption. Thank you for time. And the architecture is telling you just 6 a.m. it runs the reports every day. So that means 6 a.m. you can just click the run and run the entire pipeline and just basically look at the date from the previous day to get what needs to get and get your reports.
So is that some kind of incremental load
Yes, when you're doing
from
your
Snowflake?
pipeline, thank you. You can do your incremental load, and to ask you by what, you can now pick your date column. Then in your parameter, you can choose. There's a way you can write a parameter whereby it goes in, check the previous day, it's coming again. I think for us to be able to like understand, get this thing very well, and I don't rush this thing. I have to do a part 2 of this class. But let's continue.
I
I'll
was
try to
about
still see
saying that, but I don't want to be too forward.
because I really don't want us to rush this. In fact, I might even maybe we'll come back and look at the mirroring, we'll look at these details, then look
Yeah.
at parameters, copy activity. I don't like cramming. When I was in school, I ran away from courses that make me read so long, like biology, I'll be writing, drawing, economics. I rather do things that are practical. So if I don't understand, I don't understand at all. So that's the same way I approach when I'm learning.
Thank
I
you,
also try to use
Blessing, and
relatable
Mr.
analogies.
Benga. Thank you for that. We would like a part 2 because this is a project on its own. It's a project that you can speak to in any interview.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
yeah.
So
So
Blessing, I
thank
don't
you.
want to ask about your availability publicly, but I mean, if we can do another one next week, Saturday, I would not mind to complete this
I will
whole
make it
thing.
Sunday.
Next week, Sunday, right?
Yeah, I have engagement for Saturday and I have for upper Saturday as well. My
Okay,
Saturday for
let's do Sunday then. Let's do next week Sunday then.
yes.
Sunday
So
works. Thank you.
all right, thank you. Maga, you ambushed me on the cover. It's fine. Yes, it works. Yeah, so mirroring basically, like you can try see that See, every single thing is important. One mindset I want every one of us to look at whenever you see something, that fabric not just wake up and start putting things for putting sake. They are all important. If mirroring exists because it's important, copying activity into Snowflake exists because it's important. If they wanted you to only do shortcut and mirror external sources, trust me, there will be no place for you to copy into one link. I don't know if we're understanding this. Yes, it's good, it's cost efficient, it's that it makes things easier for us in visualization. But if there was no need for bringing some things into at a point, there'll be no reason for it. Because when you now later do the trade-off, every time it's coming in, you're doing CDC, compute is going for every time it's running. But if your reports or your endpoint doesn't need it, there is no need for you to do any mirroring. I don't know if we get.
So you are saying that copying the data is better than mirroring in this case?
In this particular case. In this particular.
Is it because the requirement says we are refreshing the data every 6 a.m.?
Because the report is needed once a day.
Okay.
They are not looking at the analytics real time. In fact, the analytics is only used during the meetings they have 8 to 10. So they open the store by 10 a.m.
Okay. Mirroring is only good for real time.
Yeah, because mirroring has a CDC. I don't know if I can find this let me try.
I think I get that CDC thing. So because we don't want to do CDC, that's why mirroring is
not needed.
And mirroring usually eats up the compute, right?
Yes, it's coming in every time. Data is getting into the system. Obviously, it's passing your pipeline every single time. Anytime you just notice data, there it comes in.
Okay, so what about the effect of egress cost on Snowflake?
Egress cost on Snowflake.
Yeah.
Actually, when you're also mirroring Snowflake.
No, I mean for copying data now.
I think that should be one-off cost. That should be a one-off cost compared to mirroring where you have to be doing front and back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
makes sense. It makes sense to me now. I know what to say in interview. I'm telling you.
We are all learning, sir. We are all learning.
Wow, this is interesting.
Another very important thing is when you're even mirroring, Snowflake now incurs more cost than, in fact, you will not even feel the cost at fabric level, but Snowflake would feel it. So it's increasing the cost at Snowflake level.
Yeah.
You would see the cost, but it's not. You might think, oh, mirroring is reducing your cost for you in fabric. When you now do the trade-off as to how much more Snowflake is incurring and the less fabric is incurring, and do the comparison, only if you are just copied and run this thing once a day.
So just once and that's it. So
do you understand? And don't forget that even when you run once, it's not reloading the entire data from beginning. It's just the previous day work that is being gotten and added to
that is being pulled. Yeah.
Yeah, that is being pulled. It's not the entire thing that it's not as if it's having to be the same compute to pull everything again.
Okay, it's pulling n-1.
Exactly. And it is doing it in batch. So basically, let me call it batch processing. Not real time. So a lot of these trade-offs we look at, we don't just this one is better. Let's just I would get this is not the part of the documentation. I'll get a documentation and I'll send it back. As a cost of mirroring, all of that. We'll look at all of these trade-offs and the copy activity and all. So if we actually want me to come back and do this, please, I would also encourage that we go back, listen to this. We are inquisitive and let's come to class with questions. Let's also come to class with research. Oh, I also saw this. I tried this. I looked at this. It makes the entire conversation better. Right. So let's come back to this place. And I have all workspaces. Like I said, once you have this by default, please can you see my screen? We didn't finish architecting. No.
Yes, I can see your screen.
We didn't finish architecting. So let's continue. Well, I'm going to come back. Let me put it this way. What mode of ingestion? So the big question is, Are we doing? So if that's the case, I will not mirror or copy. Okay, we've agreed that the landing zone is what? Lake House, right? Is there anyone that's the opinion that it should be otherwise? Please, if you have an opinion, your opinion matters and is valid. So which one should we use? Okay. Then transformation, Gen 2 or Snowflake. And the last is what? Power BI, right? Yeah. Analytics. It's really Power BI. It could be TSQL or yeah. Okay, so what I will do on this call today, just so that we can all, I believe we all have a fabric environment to work with. What I'll quickly do before we call it a night is I'll show us how to connect to Snowflake. Are we together?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Hello, are we together?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
All right, thank you.
So
So
blessing,
we'll
I,
discuss
I
how
don't
to-
have a fabric environment yet. So, but that should not stop us from going forward. Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
Mr. Olajide, are you in
Yes,
Winnipeg?
yes, sir. I'm in St. Mary, sir,
St.
in
Mary, where's that
Winnipeg.
one?
Yes, by
Oh, in
very close to
Winnipeg.
Bishop.
Okay.
Yes, very close to Bishop
You said
Grande.
St. Mary like I said it was another city, so I was confused. Okay, I can provision an account for you.
No problem, sir. I just
But the
wanted you to
problem is
know
that
that I'm just next
you
door
must
to your
always use
house.
the account. Oh. If you don't use it, they will not renew it for you.
Okay.
If you
I'll
just leave it
continue.
there and you're not using it, it becomes
Ah,
dormant.
we
That's the
have
only
a
problem.
project. We have a project already. So this is one project.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Please, anyone who falls in the same bracket as Mr. Olajide, please do well to reach out as well to Benga so you get an account and you practice something. Let's not forget we are coming back here in, let's say, a week time. I would really appreciate if we all do something before we get back to class. So please, let's do something. Again, our architecture, I did not get to create this. Obviously, there's already a Fabric tenant. There is already Microsoft Fabric enabled based on our architecture, we could recall. So I don't have access to, I was going to even fight my boss for that. If you want to create a domain, this is where you should come to settings,
I
admin
can quickly show
portal.
them that on my own because this
Exactly.
account is not the admin of this
Yes,
tenant.
so I can't create a domain.
Let me
So you can please
quickly
help
show
me.
them
You can
that
quickly show
on my own. Let me quickly share my screen so that we
please,
will show
thank
them
you.
how to do that. Just
Great.
don't stop sharing so that when I unshare, your screen can come back immediately.
That's fine.
Yes. So
Please,
let me
I'm
share.
only going to do Snowflake connection and this. Let's please do that before the next class and work around this.
Can you all see my
Please.
screen, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
You can.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is my own fabric environment. And if I go to the setting button here and I go to the admin portal, I'm an admin on this tenant. So this is where Blessing was telling you about that, how you can enable Fabric for your organization. So if you guys are already on the Microsoft Power BI before, and you are the admin of your company's tenant in terms of Power BI, right? So you go to this users can create Fabric item, and you are going to enable this. Am I correct, Blessing? You are going
Yes,
to
we're
enable
actually going
this.
to work
Yeah.
them on domain creation actually.
Okay, so the domain
So
thing.
look,
So if
just
you
go to
look at
domains.
that your account, the one you are using, you will see that when you go to the tenant setting, you should see domain, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
On your side. It's not there. I can quickly do it now so everybody can see what will happen to your account if I add you as a domain admin. Let me confirm, Blessing.
So on my own end, I don't have it.
You don't have domain.
I
Okay,
guess
so let me just do
you
that for you
gave
now.
me.
So
That's the reason why I asked you to please share your screen
okay,
for
so I'll
that.
come to domain here. Everybody can see domain. So I already have a domain here. and I have a default domain. Maybe we'll explain that better next week. Our time is fast there. So I have an account. I have a domain called accounts, and there are several workspaces that have been assigned to that domain, right? So it's like an hierarchy: workspace, domain,
So please just go back to domain. I want to just show them how to create a domain.
Let me go back to domain.
Go back to domain. Go a step out.
Okay, should I create a new domain?
Exactly, create domain, yes.
So I'll create a new domain. And what should I call it? Blessing domain.
Winnipeg domain.
Okay, let me call it Winnipeg domain then, no problem.
Yes.
Winnipeg domain. And the domain admin will now be...
And as you can create from there.
Yeah, this is the accounts. So you are a domain admin, and I click on... So don't worry, guys. My next YouTube video is on domain and subdomain. So you guys I'll share it on the group so you guys will understand it better. Okay, I've done that now.
Yeah, thank you. So please, guys, that's how to create a domain. Then I was showing us how to create a workspace. But again, let me leave all of those details and just go show you how to connect to Microsoft, to Snowflake. Can you still see my screen? No, I think he dropped me. Let me just
stop sharing
now.
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you can reshare now. Blessing.
Yes, I'm sharing.
I thought it was going to be automatic.
Until it took me out. Can we see this?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
You can refresh this now so you can see it. See domain now. Yeah.
Well, let me just come here and create a new workspace. So I'll come here, I'll just name it Winnipeg Live class. So yeah. Then assign a domain to it. Can you see the domain he created on my behalf? Winnipeg domain. So when you create a domain, while creating every other thing that should be inside the domain, if you don't attach the domain here, it would not be under the domain. So if I had clicked on none, it would not automatically go to Winnipeg domain because I can have as many domains as I like. If I want this to be under the Winnipeg domain, I'll come here, I'll click on Winnipeg domain. Then I think I want to have a trial account.
I was about to say that.
Yes, did that already. I would apply. Once I apply, I want to quickly show us how to create a pipeline. How to connect to Snowflake. So new item, I'll do pipeline. I'll come here, search for pipeline. Let me just write import from Snowflake to Lakehouse. Create. The reason why I'm doing this is this. So Snowflake connection can be something sometimes. I had my first shot of trying to do the connection. So I'll just come here, I'll click on copy assistant. I'll choose a data source. The next few seconds will be out of here after this connection is successful. Can you see where you have new sources? I don't have any of my sources here. You can see I'm looking for Snowflake. It's not among the listed one. I'll come here and search for Snowflake. Now, please pay attention to detail. Can you see that the example given for server is in what case?
Lowercase.
The example given.
Lowercase.
Thank you. The example for warehouse is in what case?
Uppercase.
Upper.
God bless you. Please, I know when you go to your Snowflake account, I know if you come here, can you see my Snowflake account? If you come here, if I go to this and view account details, Snowflake, everything is always in upper letter, but please, you have to change this to small letter. This is your server. So Fabric is requesting for your server here. Don't just come to Snowflake server here and just pick it and paste it there. You would return error for you, because it already gave you how it wants it to be or how it has programmed it to be. That's how it was programmed under the hood. So you would come here, I'll do Control V. So I now have to be changing this to lower. This is KF. This is KF. KF. I'll come here. This is KP. KP. This is RB. OJY. OJY. Then obviously this is what's in capital letter. Mine is compute underscore. Can you see where my icon is moving around? Compute underscore WH. So I'll come here, I'll do compute underscore WH. And my username. So this one, since I was not given any, I'll just pick my username, Blessing Okeke. Then my password. This is my password. I'm typing my password now. Oh my, it's I wasn't looking at this and it has taken out some things I was typing. Skips refresh now. I don't know why. Okay, you know what? Let me just copy the password from where I have it than typing myself. I don't have the luxury of time for this. Yeah, I have my password here. And every other thing complete as is, then I'll do next. You don't need a gateway for this. I'm not connecting to on-prem. So please, if you miss any of this tiny detail, it will stress you. Again, even if your Snowflake would show your server in capital letter, please do well to change it to lowercase. Fabric clearly showed you the example as to how we want it to be written here. So that's all in a nutshell. Then this would allow you to choose your data, do that, then map to whatever location you want to have it mapped to. I had to quickly do this so we have something to work on during the course of the week. Connecting. I see that it has connected. Now you have to choose, this is still loading. Total connection, you have to choose what database it is and all of that. What database? So adventure work. You go next. Then you choose the data, the tables. This is loading to come up soon. So that's all in a nutshell. It's very, very easy connecting to Snowflake if you follow the important details I mentioned. Any case sensitivity, it will return error for you. So any case sensitivity, you have to now pick what you want, preview, go to the next one, and that's that about that. So thank you so much, Tim. I really enjoyed seeing every one of you, and finger crossed we'll meet next week.
Thank you so much, Blessing.
Thank you
are
for having me, boss.
highly appreciated. And we can't wait to have you again next week, Sunday. I would talk to Blessing and we'll communicate the time that the class will be on Sunday next week. You see that Fabric is more practical oriented, so it means that you have to like practicalize things to better understand it. That's the way it works. And the more you practice, the more you know. I mean, what I learned, one thing I picked from today's section was the fact that I usually think that probably anytime you want to bring anything that is outside of the Fabric environment, it has to be either shortcut or mirroring. But today now I learned that based on the architecture, based on the requirements, determines whether you are going to actually do a copy data or you are going to actually just do a mirroring. I mean, that's something that I learned, something new that I learned today. Thank you very much, Blessing. God bless you. We appreciate you. And guys, please call your friends, invite your colleagues, anybody around you that is interested in fabric. Tell them next week, Sunday again, we continue. And it's going to be all practical next week, no more theory now. And we're going to do something like an end-to-end that everybody can see. Right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I'm Blessing.
Thank
Please
you very much.
accept my
Blessing.
connect on LinkedIn. Okay.
All right, I will. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Have a great day. Thank you, Mr. Gbenga and everybody.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you.